Okay, friends, welcome to our meditation time. Let's just each in our own space begin to settle in. Whatever that looks like and feels like for you, just either sit up nice and tall and really ground down through your seat or stretch out if you're lying down. And just when you are ready, allow your eyes to close and allow your breath to become even. Just letting that inhale and that exhale just balance each other out. And just start to notice that beautiful ebb and flow of the breath. And just feel how it becomes this ebb and flow through the entire body. Just gently rocking you, kind of holding you in this spot, in this moment. And really allowing you just to settle. So for these few weeks, we are looking at this idea of challenges. Challenges in our personal lives, our professional lives, challenges that we encounter that we did not expect. And just really how can this practice, this time of showing up to be present, to breathe, to become mindful or more mindful, how can this practice help us to navigate those challenges? But the unique thing about meditation is that we don't just show up here and get our tools all sharpened and set into our toolbox and then go throughout our day. But rather what we do is we try to create this really acute awareness. And then we sit with whatever that awareness shows. And then we go out into our everyday living, our experiences day in and day out. And so with this idea of our challenges, what this practice is going to ask us to do today and in the coming days is to sit with them. Not to wait until we go about our Monday and see what comes, but rather name the challenges that we're facing. Know them, recognize them, sit with them. So that as we begin to navigate our day, nothing comes as a surprise. We've already recognized the suffering, the hard, tough moments. We've already called out the name of the situations that we are struggling with. And while they'll still be challenging and there'll still be struggles, how we will interact with them, how we'll navigate them will be dramatically impacted just from our sitting with them. And so the other day we sat with the challenges that our physical body sometimes presents to us. And today we're going to sit with the challenge of grief and sorrow. It's one of those things that it doesn't matter how old we are. It doesn't matter what neighborhood we grew up in, what language our family spoke, what religion we are, what culture we are. Every human being on this planet experiences grief and experiences sorrow. And sometimes that grief has the traditional sense where we really have lost someone that was important to us, someone that we loved, someone that had a role in our life, and they're no longer here. And there's grief, and there's sorrow connected to that. There's also grief and sorrow in different types of ways of being, of maybe the person hasn't passed from their physical body, but they're just not with you anymore. Maybe it's the grief of a relationship that's ended. Maybe it's the grief and the sorrow of a lost job or a lost opportunity. Maybe it's the grief and the sorrow associated with being estranged from someone that you just desire so much to be reconnected to. And so whatever face your grief and your sorrow takes on today, what I'd like us to do is just sit with it. This is not about the stages of grief. It is not about the processes that we learn about as we experience these things. It really is about just being aware. Being aware of the fact that there are things that break our heart. There are things that cause us emotional pain. There are things that sometimes we feel like it's just too much, and we wonder if we're going to make it through. And again, all of those types of situations, they happen to all of us. It's this beautiful unifying force that we all experience grief and sorrow and heartache. And so what a beautiful thing for us to sit and use this practice as a way to see it, as a way to sit with it. You know, during my lifetime, we've seen this shift when it comes to the actual loss of someone. When someone dies, I remember when I was growing up, all we ever talked about were funerals. These events that honored and remembered someone who had died. And then somewhere along in the last couple of decades, organizations and families and churches and different groups have shifted, and you don't hear the word funeral as much as you do this celebration of life. And so there's been this mindset shift of, rather than having this ceremony where we lament, where we grieve, we want to be able to bring our grief and our sorrow into the celebration of who that person represented to us. Stories are shared, memories are brought up, pictures. And so it goes. We spend moments with other people who also are grieving a loss, but at the same time celebrating a life. And so I thought, as we are sitting with this particular challenge today, what if we could do something similar? What if we could sit with our own grief right here and now? And as we notice it and as we recognize it, as we sit with it, we could begin to shift to think about the life that we have. And I know for some of us, it really is about a person that's gone. And there is grief and there's sorrow and there's hurt connected to that. And then others, it's circumstantial, there's relationships, all the things that we grieve, all the things that hurt our heart. But I believe, and I have practiced, and I have found that as I breathe into the present moment, I am reminded again and again and again about this gift of life that I've been given. It doesn't make the pain disappear. It doesn't make the process of grief go any faster. But it does do this thing that the Dalai Lama talks about, where I can be heartbroken without being broken. I can go through hardships without being hardened. And he says, when he shares those teachings, is feel it all. Be aware of it. Hold your heart and feel it ache. But don't become broken. Sit and close your eyes and rest as things are difficult and hard. But don't become hardened. And the only way that I know to do that is to breathe into the present moment of this beautiful life that I've been given. This life that experiences challenges. This life that mourns the loss This life that has moments where I just want to be in the dark, in the quiet, and just sit still. We all have those. Again, it's something that unites us. And so I would ask if maybe for these few moments that we spend together, we all just see in our mind's eye something that we're grieving, a person, a loss, a job, a friendship, a circumstance. There's no right or wrong category that it needs to fall into. The idea is if it breaks your heart, it fits into the category. And so what I'd like us to do is just first see that one thing, that one face, that one circumstance, that one loss. Just see it. And recognize how it feels when you bring it to mind. Feel the humanity of yourself as you see it, as you remember, as you hurt. And then very slowly together, just take a slow, gentle breath in. And a slow, gentle breath out. And a slow breath in. And a slow breath out. And one more together, breathing in. And breathing out. And just notice how those just 3 gentle, simple breaths are this tangible reminder that we're still alive. That's the only way we can feel the grief. It's the only way that we can process the loss. It's the only way we can navigate the challenge, the struggle, the suffering, is if we keep breathing, remembering this gift of life that we have. It doesn't discount how hard this thing is, but as that gentle breath fills you up, touches every part of you that it needs to touch, it helps to find this pathway that ensures we don't become hardened, that ensures that we don't go through life broken. And so what I'd like us to do is just sit with that person, that situation, that job, that friendship, that relationship, whatever it is. Just sit with it. Honor what it's brought to your life. Feel the heaviness of having it gone. And as we sit with it, continue to breathe slow, gentle breaths in and out, honoring the person and at the same time honoring this life that we have. Slow breath in, slow breath out. And as you continue to breathe, and you continue to sit with this person, this life, this, whatever it is for you that you're grieving, that you're feeling sorrow over, notice where in your physical body that you feel it. Notice your heart. Notice your hands. Notice your shoulders, your forehead. Notice deep down into your belly. All these places within our body that we feel. And then I would invite us to marvel at our ability to feel. Be in such awe of this emotional layer. We call that the Manamaya Kosha in Sanskrit. It's this entire layer of us that's meant to feel. It feels joy and happiness and sorrow and heartache and confusion and confidence and stillness and chaos. It feels it all. And none of those feelings are wrong. We were created to feel it all. But this beautiful thing is, as we continue just to slowly breathe in and slowly breathe out, there's this layer within us called our Pranamaya Kosha. It's the energy layer. And it just so happens that it's this second layer when you look at the structure of who we are as humans. And so it kind of encompasses and wraps its arms around this emotional layer, which is right below it. I don't think it was an accident that we were created this way, so that as we breathe, we're wrapping our arms around these emotions, allowing the energy to flow, allowing ourselves to feel, and reminding ourselves that we have a beautiful life that we've been given. And so again, it's not about the stages of grief. It's not about the steps and the processes. It is about the celebration of this life, even amidst the challenges. And so I want us just to pause for just a moment longer and just let those words of the Dalai Lama just kind of sit. When he said, as you go through life, allow yourself to feel the heartbreak. Just don't become broken. Allow yourself to feel all the things during the hard times. But don't allow yourself to become hardened. And so let's just take these last few breaths together as we just sit quiet in stillness. And just continue just to hug in those emotions, helping ourselves not to be hardened and not to be broken. take a long, slow, deep breath in. Feel the life that is within you. And then exhale just as slowly. One more time, slow breath in, feel that life. And then just as slowly let that breath go. And as we prepare to close our time, we prepare to navigate the challenges, the sorrow, the grief that we will experience in the coming days, whatever that looks like for each of us. Remember, notice this layer of you dedicated to the feeling. Go through it all. Feel it all. And then notice the layer of you that breathes in and breathes out and wraps those feelings in this beautiful, beautiful way, reminding you this life we are living is beautiful. The chance to feel, the chance to grieve are beautiful just as well. And all we have to do is take it one slow breath at a time. Namaste.